Hello, sir. Welcome to Beyond the Brief.
Hi, good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining in, sir. We are so glad to have you, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to you today.
Same here.
Okay. So, before we dive in, I would request you to please introduce yourself for the audience.
My name is Sourajit Bhattacharya. I run things at Ghostline Legal. I'm the founder. So, we are a tech and content firm working exclusively with lawyers and law firms on a variety of mandates. So, we handle their tech content and business development, thought leadership aspects of their operations end to end. And so I started this firm 3 years back, and when I was in my final year of law school, and it's been a good journey so far. It is good to hear from you. I always look to connect with podcasts and young students who are
Yes,
looking to explore something in this area. So yeah.
right. Very interesting. But what motivated you to start Ghostline Legal? Because this is comparatively a non-conventional path. So, how did you start
Right.
this, and what motivated you?
Right. Back in my third year of law school, I was working with a very well-known legal edtech company. So I was in-house with them. I used to handle their content and their website. And during my time with them, I realized I used to network with a lot of lawyers and law firms on a regular basis. So in terms of handling, their queries and how they're looking to move forward with their careers. So that gave me a lot of clarity. And if you look 5 years back, I mean, uh, there are a lot of digital agencies out there, but if you look at India specifically or the South Asian subcontinent, there is a lot of specific requirements, that lawyers have that XYZ agency can't handle. Right? So the agency which are handling mandates for conventional businesses, they don't have that additional know-how that is required for handling legal mandates because you have to be from a legal background if you are dealing with legal content or if you are even handling legal design mandates. So there's a certain bracket of aesthetics that lawyers prefer. So
Right.
at one point of time, we realized that there is a serious market gap in this, and it's a gap for an agency that could come and cater to lawyers specifically and understand their requirements from the get-go.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to ask you here ki how is the demand growing? Because we see a lot of people now, everyone is on LinkedIn, they are trying to build their personal brand. So, how is the demand evolving and growing with time?
Right. So demand-wise, we have seen a very good growth in the last 2 years, uh, which is why other firms have also come up who are following a similar model of catering to just law firms. And even I speak regularly with my competitors. We have a good rapport, and we always discuss that India is such a country that uh, there's even if 10, 20 more firms come up in the next 2, 3 years, there's enough for everyone,
Yes,
right?
right.
Yeah. So the number of law firms have also been increasing exponentially. Where we find hope is that uh, litigation lawyers who operate with a bit more conservative mindset than law firms, they are also coming on board and approaching us and telling us that you should be helping out with such and such mandates.
Right.
So that is
Especially
very
after COVID, everyone wants to have a digital presence.
right. So that is very inspiring for us because corporate law firms used to do certain
Yes.
activities from the get-go, but the fact that litigation lawyers are now changing their approach is indicative of a paradigm shift, which
Yes.
is which is a very positive sign for the future.
Right. So it's only growing.
Yeah.
So what kind of job roles? I mean, I can think of content writing and, website maintaining, but what other roles does this like it requires?
Right. So when we talk about this sector, we focus mostly on a couple of things. If again, you either outsource as a law firm or as a chamber, you either outsource your work or you get it done in-house, right? So
Yes.
if we are talking about the big law firms, they are they have been hiring their in-house teams for the last decade. So their in-house team mostly caters to two aspects. One is a thought leadership team,
Yes.
and the other one is a business development team, right? So both these departments work, coordinate with each other to keep the machine running,
Hmm.
right? So in thought leadership, you will see we have content writers, we have social media creators, we have, uh, and mind you, all of them are from a law background because they are creating content. So mostly firms are looking to hire freshers who have certain degree of experience or certain number of publications in this area, right? So uh, content writers, social media creators, then you have graphic designers who uh, contribute towards designing those posts effectively. All those posts that you see on LinkedIn that these big law firms make. So you will see they are very nicely designed, very
Yes.
professional, very elegant, right? So graphic designers play a big role. Uh, Knowledge management professionals are there who also help out other lawyers in the firm with legal databases and managing their existing knowledge repository, right? So coordinating with databases, setting up events. So
Hmm.
event managers are also there who set up these networking events from time to time, handle relationships with clients, right? So all of that comes under the purview of uh, thought leadership and business development. Business development is just core business work where they are responsible for uh, maintaining existing relationships with existing clients, growing them, partner or the manager. Usually, BDPR teams in law firms they have a manager instead of a partner. So getting to know the manager helps you have a proper outlook on how you should approach this
Right.
uh, career path. Yeah.
It's very interesting because I'm in my final year and I have never heard anyone doing internship in the marketing group, like marketing team or BD team of the law firm. They're like five options: general corp, M&A, like dispute resolution. These are the teams which they usually intern in. But it's very interesting to know that these top tier law firms have internship roles in this department as well.
Right.
Right. So, sir, of course, students can intern with law firms in this department. What else can they do if they aspire to make a career in legal marketing?
Uh, to begin with, the key skill that is held in the highest regard in this area is your communication,
Yes.
right? A big crux of your job involves communicating on a daily basis, verbal as well as written communications with lawyers inside the firm as well as clients outside it, other stakeholders, like I said, media agencies, legal directories, award agencies. So there's a lot of back and forth going on. Right? So your communication has to be crystal clear, has to be crisp, has to be proactive. So a lot of law schools, even today, I see law students graduating law without the proper communication skill set. Even something as basic as writing an email
Right.
or right approaching someone on LinkedIn, how to draft the initial message. So these skill sets are still missing in a lot of our law students. I think
Yes.
the legal education system will evolve in the next few years to
So, but I think
inculcate
now
skills.
AI has made our jobs easy, like writing an email or, these things. Uh,
Again,
Students can use
those
AI and do these things at least.
it is, but as you keep on working with more people, you'll realize that these senior professionals who've been handling people, handling cases for so many years, they have an inbuilt AI detector at some point. Okay, so if you see when you give a prompt, no matter how specific it is, at some point uh, the response starts sounding generic, right?
Yes.
So as professionals, we always try to avoid that. So when you are approaching someone, uh, a new client or an existing client, the first thing that they teach you in IIMs is that your communication has to be personalized,
Right.
right? So it shouldn't be a cut, copy, paste, one shoe fits all approach for um, your clients. So
Yeah.
otherwise, unless you establish that personal touch, you are not doing your job effectively.
Right.
So even when speaking with clients, we always tell them not to pitch to clients in bulk. Just like I tell my interns that don't apply for internships in bulk,
Right.
right? So applications coming where that blind carbon copy section of the email has 30 emails, right? So that person can clearly see that they have
Yes.
applied to 30 other places, and it
Yes.
doesn't make for a good first impression. So communications wise, there are lots of small things that need to be taken care of. How to not just the hi hello part, but also how to effectively convey your position, or maybe how to pitch in, or how to convey your financials, how much you are quoting for that particular service. That is also important. And having good communication automatically solves a lot of problems, right?
Right.
So good communication will also extend to conflict resolution at some time. If you two are not seeing eye to eye on a certain subject, so how do we get through this, right? So that all is very important. So communication is one thing. Second is writing skills are also very underrated. So that becomes part of it. Reading people is a good part of it, right? So the more you, and that is something, that is one skill that can't be learned from books or from a
Yes.
course. Right? As you interact with more and more people, you try to pick up on the non-verbal cues, you try to pick up on their body language, and you try to curate your strategy accordingly.
Yes.
So yeah, these two, three skills
And
are
you
very
learn
important.
these things only with time and practice, I feel.
Right,
But
right,
somebody who wants to make a career in legal marketing, I think first thing is to have a LinkedIn profile, because a lot of my friends
right,
and peers do not have even a LinkedIn profile. So I think personal
right.
branding is the first step to step into legal marketing.
So around LinkedIn, uh, there has been a misconception that LinkedIn is used only for finding jobs, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
again, I think that misconception is evolving next to last 2 3 years. I see a lot of law students on LinkedIn. In fact, LinkedIn is the one platform where the entire legal community contributes actively,
yes,
right? So right from law students to researchers, clerks who are working in our high courts and supreme courts, lawyers, law firm partners, all of them come together under one roof. So as a professional, I feel that even if you are not creating content, at least staying active and reaching out, connecting with new people, interacting with them has become absolutely non-negotiable.
yes,
Even if even from a career point of view, if you are applying somewhere, your CV should have your LinkedIn URL, because that adds an extra edge where recruiters can directly go to your LinkedIn file and get an overview,
right.
right? So there might be something on your LinkedIn that's not there in your CV. So that adds an extra touch. LinkedIn has become absolutely non-negotiable. In fact, uh, in the next few years, we might even see some law schools mandating having a LinkedIn profile.
So I was applying for internship with an advocate, and when I forwarded my resume, I was asked to just share the LinkedIn URL and not the resume itself. So I think with time,
Right.
people will look at your LinkedIn more than your resume.
Right. Right. It's a digital CV
Yeah,
because it allows you everything, right? Whatever is there in your CV, your work section, your internships, your publications, all of that reflects in your LinkedIn.
right.
In fact, LinkedIn goes above and beyond and also allows you to uh, publish recommendations given to you by other
Yes.
people. Yeah, allow you to get your skills
Endorsements.
endorsed from other people. Yeah,
Right.
that all helps.
Absolutely. So, when we talk about communication skills, LinkedIn, and everything, but again, now we come back to the point that MBA grads are preferred over uh, law students for marketing. So how is that, like, how can law students compare with someone who is professionally trained for this marketing side?
See, there's definitely an advantage having an MBA, but nowadays the current trend is that law firms are preferring candidates who have done both a law degree and then an MBA. So a combination of that is being preferred because, like I said, you have to have a lot of industry specific expertise if you are going to be dealing with clients on a regular basis. And at the same time, MBA students are trained in the core skill of developing a business from scratch, right? So all of the aspects which are not taught to us in law school, even if somebody is doing a BBLL course, right? So that if somebody has done well in their MBA, it means that uh, that core business acumen is part of their skill set, and law firms look for that definitely. But a combination of that is being preferred. In fact, uh, law firms are also preferring lawyers who have contributed to. So once you get in somewhere, right? So once you get placed somewhere, uh, you can build your career from there. You don't need to have an MBA because a lot of BD professionals I know are purely legal professionals. They maybe practiced for 1 or 2 years out of law school. Then this transition to this area. They interned somewhere. They got placed.
So you
So
enter law
once you
firm
become,
as like into the legal department, and then you switch to BD.
you can switch here. You can also switch to another firm, right? So once you are placed as an associate in the BDPR sector, then of course it's up to you to build your skill set. It's up to you to keep working on yourself, figuring out what's going on in the market right now. More importantly, building your contacts, because that helps you immensely. When you even when you are switching from one law firm to another, those contacts remain, right? And when you come to a new firm, it always builds an excellent impression when you can tell your partner that I have contacts in so and so places and I can get this done for you
Yes.
without having running from pillar to post,
Right.
right? So that helps.
Okay, so the checklist goes like, if you have good communication skills, you have a liking towards reading and writing and learning people, and a bit of graphic designing or creative mind, then you are fit for legal marketing. Now coming to developing skill sets and interning and writing, finding the right places, they can intern with top tier firms. What else can they do to hone their skills?
With top tier firms, as you apply, you get in. That's fantastic.
Hmm.
But the there's an entry barrier in terms of how many slots they have or how much
Yes.
in advance you need to apply,
Yes.
right? So sometimes it doesn't work out, right? So you can also apply with smaller firms. You can also apply with chambers who are maybe looking out for such people, but they haven't been able to build a team yet. So maybe they'll give you an opportunity as an intern, and then if you work well they'll also end up giving you an extension, or maybe they'll end up giving you a probation, right?
Right.
So that is an excellent approach. Apart from that, uh, if you're just looking to get a taste of how it works, you can also reach out to agencies like us who do work in this area. Like we at Ghostline Legal also give out content writing internships on a rolling basis. So we have that expertise, and we take a lot of pride in teaching our interns how to go about it. Right? We are very hands-on with our internships.
Right. So talking about Ghostline Legal, I would like you to share your journey and your experiences with this. How have you started it in your final year? So I would like to know ki, what all things.
Right.
Yeah.
See, final year first 6 8 months were very topsy-turvy because starting out something while your law school is going on, that was an issue to begin with, arranging my schedules, managing my time. But one thing that helped immensely was that I had contacts from my previous job. I had people I was in touch with who I knew for sure were looking for the kind of work I was offering. So I had good contacts to begin with. So again, during COVID, I was very active on LinkedIn, which helped with that. The one thing I didn't have to worry about is money. So I could focus on building my business from scratch, focus on setting up processes, how to pitch, how to execute a mandate, how to deal with clients, how to raise an invoice, how to have a meeting, how to manage expectations, how to uh, you know coordinate with them effectively even
Right.
once they've paid and the work is ongoing, and how to communicate even if there's a delay. So all of that were skill sets that uh, I built over time, and it's a process, right? So process is still ongoing,
Of course.
right? So in our line of work you can never cease to learn.
Definitely.
So yeah, that was one thing. In the initial days I used to work a lot with freelancers, right? So coordinating with freelancers was another big part of my day. Monitoring the work, and again, 6 months down the line, things started stabilizing. Client base started stabilizing. My co-founder joined after 7 months,
Okay.
so he's the main guy right now. Is sitting in Gujarat and handling all the tech mandates. He's from a tech background, and I'm from a law background, so we have a very
It's a
good
good pair.
coordination going on, right? So I handle clients, I bring in the business, and he executes the mandates. So again, he's a swell guy to work with. Again, building a team, right? So at some point of time, we had to build a team because working extensively with freelancers is not sustainable.
Right.
So again, building that team, identifying the right person, then come on board, and not everybody in my team is full time. There are part time people as well. But again, main issue is identifying the right people who are good for your business, who can contribute, and who have a good work ethic,
Yes.
right? So again, hiring was a headache to begin with, but I think now we have got the hang of it. So that so all those things, a lot of things were happening, and especially after graduation, I went into it full time, like 16, 18 hour days. I'm not setting any precedents, but when you are building a business from scratch, that much time has to be invested.
You must be
Uh,
very, very, very passionate about it to give in 16, 18 hours, give like starting something full time, which is not even conventional. So either you are very passionate or you are very courageous. I don't know what to say, but
no,
that's
no,
great
definitely,
because it pays off.
yeah, not lacking in the passion department because we are still one of the very few firms who is doing this, right? And whenever a client comes to us, we tell them that I tell them that I am very hands-on as a founder. So once they come on board, even then I don't delegate them to some team member कि आप अभी going forward इनसे बात कर लो. That is
Mm.
not how things work. So even I coordinate with them on a regular basis. I keep in touch with them, and that is why I hope that clients feel that personal touch. And as a law firm which banks on digital services, 50% of our work is coming in through referrals. So I think I take a lot of pride in that because somebody who gets the work done by us, they share that work product in their circle. Other lawyers come to us within the next 2 3 days. So it's a good sign. It's a uh, I would say testimonial to the kind
Yes,
of work that we're doing.
right. Okay, sir. So finally, what advice would you give to law students who are navigating their career path, and this could be one of the potential career options for them?
Right. So I always tell this to my students that you need to have a lot of clarity, right? So even when you are in your first or second year, uh, explore stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, Even if you are interested in litigation, figure out chambers, take on uh, more variety of work. Uh, work across practice areas. A lot of mistake that students do is, first, second year, they like end up liking intellectual property and then they'll only pursue intellectual property. Right? So that's a very common mistake, because by the third year, you should have tried out everything, and that's when you should have start having some clarity on what you wish to specialize on. So fourth and fifth year is something you can work on that area. So writing papers in that area, getting published, attending events, doing notes, whatever that particular area
Yes.
calls for, right? In networking with leading professionals from that area, doesn't have to be a law firm partner,
Yes.
might be an associate, might be a professor who teaches that area. So all of that helps. The little things help, and by the time you are graduating law school, you will feel like you have done enough, right,
Right.
to go out there and survive. So
Yeah.
I think that's what the approach should be.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. It was great talking to you. And we are very grateful. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us.
Most welcome, and it was my pleasure connecting with you. I hope young students come to this podcast and see this video. Sure, they'll get to know a lot.
Definitely, because it's such an interesting field, but very few people know about it. So that's very disheartening.
Right. Thank you so much for your time, Rashmi. Thank you for the time to get in touch and then creating the questionnaire and everything. You've been extremely helpful.
Totally our pleasure, sir. Uh, we look forward to connecting with you and hosting you soon again.
I look forward to that.
Okay.
Thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you so much, sir. So I just